Hello, all. This is Ankita, and today's topic of discussion is alienation effect, which is also called as Verfremdungs effect. The other names to it are estrangement effect and distancing effect. This idea was developed in 1920s by German playwright Bertolt Brecht, which was a reaction against the Aristotle's theory of catharsis. The concept of alienation effect was influenced by Marxism or Marxist ideology, where the purpose of theatre was to bring about social change. So Bertolt Brecht wanted to transform the spectators from passive consumers to active critics. Now, what is alienation effect? Alienation effect is to make familiar strange. What will happen when you make familiar strange? It will prevent emotional identification, which will ultimately lead you to think critically. And hence, instead of feelings, you will be able to critically think. So the theaters were not to hypnotize you, not to immerse you into emotions, but rather to awaken you. Bertolt Brecht opposed the Aristotelian idea of traditional theatres, as it had a lot of emotional immersion. He was against the idea of catharsis. He was against the idea of identification with the hero, because it somewhere takes you deep inside the emotion, the storyline, without making you view that thing with a third eye view and critically think on that. And hence he used certain techniques to make sure that the audience is able to view a piece of work critically. The first one was breaking the fourth wall, which means that the actors directly addressed the audience. This was to remind the audience that this is a play going on. And they, instead of immersing into the storyline or the emotions, were able to think as critical audience, not just as passive recipients. The second was the use of songs. Why? Because the songs were used as to interrupt the narrative flow, right? It acted as a commentary to prevent the deepening of emotions. The third one that was used was the projections and the placards. And hence there was no suspense. The audience focus was on how and why and not on what. For example, right at the beginning of the scene, the board would say that Mother Courage loses her son. So you basically know what's going to happen. Now you see why does that happen and how does that happen. So your critical thinking is awakened here. The fourth is episodic structure. So Bertolt Brecht was somebody who believed that each episode should be independent. He was strongly against the Aristotle's idea of unity of action. He said that each scene stands independently, so that each scene can be critically viewed by the audience. The fifth one was a visible stage machinery. Why? Because there was no artificiality. Everything was clearly visible. The lights, the ropes, the scene change, everything was visible. The aim was anti-illusionism. They wanted to show the audience that this is a reality, this is a play going on, this is a storyline that's going on, and it is being narrated in front of you. So you don't have to get deep inside it, you have to critically think on this. And the most important technique that was used was justice. This was a key Brechtian term. What does justice mean now? Justice refers to gesture or attitude that reveal social relations. It is not psychological acting, but social demonstration. For example, actor does not becomes the character, he shows the character, right? It shows the power, class, social relationship in one clear moment. Now let me explain you. For example, a rich man talking to a poor worker. So a rich man will stand confidently with his hand back, whereas the worker will bend slightly and speak softly. So the posture itself is showing inequality. There is a visible expression of social relationship, and that is what is called as justice, right? The gesture and the attitude which clearly reveals the social relation. Okay. Now, we say while we were dealing with traditional acting, the actors would always try to make the character emotional, right? Whereas in Brecht's theater, the actors show the character from a distance, right? The actors make the audience see, look, this is how capitalism works. Look, this is how power behaves. So there is always a distancing effect where you are able to sit at a distance and view things critically. Justice exposes social reality. Brecht did not want the audience to lose themselves in the story. He wanted them to find themselves in history. These lines make the entire idea of alienation effect clear. He did not want the audience to lose themselves in story. He wanted them to find themselves in history. For example, let me explain you with the help of example. Bertolt Brecht's play Mother Courage and Her Children. Mother Courage is a woman who sells goods during war. The war destroys her children one by one. If we look at it from the point of view of traditional tragedy or Aristotelian drama, we will see that audience would feel pity on Mother Courage. Mother Courage will be seen as a victim, and the audience will cry and they will feel catharsis. They will let out the emotions and the pity. Whereas if we look at it from Brechtian point of view, then there are songs that are inserted at tragic moments. He tells the audience beforehand that the children will die. The acting is not fully emotional. It is detached. You will see visible lights and scene change on the stage happening, which will make you realize that this is an artificial setting and this is a play going on. And the characters are merely actors. So here we do not simply feel sad, we question, why does war continue? Or who profits from the war? Or why does Mother Courage keep selling goods during the tragedy? Thus, Mother Courage and Her Children is not a tragic play. Okay? We do not simply mourn on the death of her children. We confront a disturbing truth. We confront a truth that war is not just a destruction, it is a business for some people. Suffering is not just fate, it is something that is socially produced. Survival within capitalism often demands moral compromise. These are some disturbing truths which we realize when we look at the play with a third person eye, with a critical view, indulging in the play as active audience. So Bertolt Brecht does not allow us to cry, but to feel relieved. He makes us uncomfortable, right? His entire aim is to transform personal tragedy into social analysis. He aims to bring about a social change with this movement. He aims to show something to the society. He aims that each work should make the audience learn something. He believed that theater should be agents of social change and not just immersion of emotions. I hope